So we got so many questions here. How about we bring out
Yes.
our very special guest,
Mr. B Natural herself.
Hey,
Yes.
Mr. B Natural.
Hey, Bridget.
That was so fun to see.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Did you remember any of that film? I didn't.
I just remember watching it to try to get her voice and say the spirit of music is in everyone. I remember trying to get that thing in my mind.
You did a great impression of her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Betsy Luster crushed it.
We have to do that other short, that the Nuvina character that you did. We should redo that one.
She's all over the place. No, I love the dancing. Like I can see why, that you guys have had me do that one.
And there's
there you go.
You in the costume.
And Jack Perkins, another beloved MST3K character.
Yes, Mike. And I remember on that episode we had to kiss, and I was not a very good actress, right? So I'm looking all over, not really at my point or whatever. So he leans in to kiss me, and I went, and we did one of the things where I just hit my teeth so hard, like where they hurt for a while. Yeah, and then we both were in pain, but we continued on. I took some notes during that Osborne flanged rollers thing because I got so I'm supposed to know this. I have a couple of them here.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to know.
Well, it just
about
seems so important.
Rollers.
So Osborne flanged rollers, 5560 Rockwell C.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And then
Rockwell C is a hardness of steel.
Okay. And anti-friction bearings have deep groove, and this is where it all comes from. Studs. So I did take some notes. And I did learn.
Well, it's educational, so I'm glad you learned.
I did learn.
You want to use the V groove if you have schmutz on your roller guide thing. That's what I took from it.
See, that's what I forget to do every time. Okay. All right.
Here's a question. I like this one. This comes from Bill Brantley, who asks, Mr. B, did you know my father?
Knew your father did.
The creepiest line in any film we've seen.
This is from Jackie Barton, who asks, I'm wondering, out of all the characters Bridget played, if Mr. B was her favorite or if there was another one you liked more.
I really liked Nuvina, and then she was the only woman. She was on Satellite Above, so that was like a first time thing where we let somebody on there. That was controversial.
You know what was a sketch you were in? It was always one of my favorites. Was you and Mary Jo as the Deep 13 next door neighbors who came over, and Forrester and Frank can't deal with interactions and they just freak out, and you guys are really nice, but they don't know what to. That was always a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
That was very funny and pulled from our lives. It seemed like we talked about those kinds of people all the time. And you were putting your comic books in the plastic bag.
Yes.
Really fun. Really fun.
I love that there were no rules or canon. It's suddenly they have neighbors.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love that. Yes, that's so true. And people showing up. I also liked that drunk girl Debbie in the Hexfield. We were partying in a trailer court or something, and I was drunk and crying because I loved everybody so much. I liked doing that.
Yeah.
This is Chris Doyle actually asked, harder to play, Mr. B or Nuvina?
Nuvina, because it was the first time I ever got to do anything.
Oh, is that your first? And
I just had a baby. I mean, I'm constantly, that's having babies.
The way you talk about this, it's like you were having babies all the time.
But everything happened at once. You know what I mean? The mic switchover happened, and I was in the hospital having the baby, and then all of a sudden we started doing stuff more, and I was asked to do it, and so I felt like so many things happened within 6 months.
You brought up kids. Here's a question from Brian Sebi, who says, follow the theme of kids and parents. What do your kids think of the stuff that you and Mike, your husband, Mike Nelson, do? Do you have any interest in careers? Do they have any interest in careers in riffing?
Well, as a matter of fact, so our sons are adults, grown adults. They're both married. And, they didn't pay much attention to it at all until we moved to California. And then at school, there was a Mystery Science Theater Club. And, so that was kind of cool. So August went to it, and of course, no one believed him. And he's like, it's true, my dad, and then, but August actually has written a couple rights for Mary Jo and I once in a while. He just wrote wrote a riff for us called Heroine of the Week. And, believe it or not, I had to tell him to, tamp down the darkness a little,
I met one of your sons in Nashville. A great kid, I have to say. I was very taken with what seemed like such a great, really nice kid.
Oh,
I wasn't surprised at all. But
that's so nice. George and August.
Mm-hmm.
And their wives.
Here's a question. I like this one from Q the Wet Sprocket. Would you, Bridget, and Mary Jo ever consider doing a tag team riff with the Mads?
Wow, what's a tag team riff?
I guess you guys would switch off scenes.
Yeah.
Wow. I think we'd have to go out for coffee and discuss it.
Yeah.
I would consider it.
I would say is maybe a live show one day. That would be really fun.
That'd be really fun.
Oh, yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Here is one from Doc Badwrench, who asks, how goes she and Mary Jo's project of riffing all the terrible color by numbers Mary Higgins Clark movies?
Well, we have a couple more left, and I honestly have to say that I just decided to put them later in the schedule, like next year. I can't take it. It's the exact same thing that happens. It's always in Canada. The wife explodes. The husband's accused. The best friend does it. It's the same thing. There's always So there's two more that we have the rights to do.
Yeah.
Where she's lingering and here comes the fun. I don't know what they're called, but something like that.
Here's one everyone can chime in on. What instruments did everyone learn as kids? And were you in a high school band?
Mm.
Bridget, did you play anything as a
I tried the violin. And I was really, really bad at it. And I think my dad had like Jack Benny plans for me, but I couldn't.
Your dad wanted you to be the next Jack Benny as a violinist. That's so sweet.
But I was not good at it.
I was never in the high school band, but I did play in a garage band in high school, and I played the drums.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Remember we had that set at Best Brains that we would annoy the neighbors with?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Early days. I played the clarinet until my parents needed to pay for braces. And then it was like, you're just going to fuck your mouth up.
Right. What kind of lips did you have?
I had, my numbers did not add up for me blowing through anything of musical quality. That whole sequence where they're, it seems so like eugenic,
yes.
Well, your face isn't really fit for this instrument. It's just, I've never seen that before.
Your sloped forehead tells us you should play the triangle.
They were just making that shit up, I think.
Yes, that's all they were doing.
There's a Brannick device for your mouth. We'll just put this on here.
Here's one from Godzilla Haiku. We can all chime in. What's your favorite TV theme song?
Oh.
Better Call Saul.
That's a good one.
Yeah, very quick. Great.
10 seconds.
Great episode. You saw last night's episode? Great.
Yes.
But I would say it's harder to. There's so many great ones. The one that I go to immediately is Mannix.
Oh, yeah.
Theme from Mannix. I love, but the same composer, Lao Schifrin, also did Mission Impossible, which was also great.
That's right.
And I love the Man from U.N.C.L.E. theme and all of the like spy and detective shows. Most of them had great theme music, and my theory about that is Henry Mancini wrote the theme for Peter Gunn in 1959. And then I think that inspired all the other composers who were like, if we do like a detective or spy theme, we have to step up our game and write something great. And a lot of them really did, I think.
Yeah, like I would say Hawaii Five-0. I mean,
so great.
when that came on, like something important is happening, something like adult.
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to know about what goes on. The woman when she does that, and it's like, what is happening? And then the show would start, and it was so boring.
Yeah.
Get me so excited.
I watched a Hawaii Five-0 the other day because I have no life, and it was actually pretty good, I thought, but
But it's not in Hawaii, and it's like, it's all exciting, and then it's just that dead studio. You're
right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Cheers is pretty darn good.
Cheers was great.
Yep.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
To me, like I look at comedies and dramas as different categories of theme songs and or theme songs with lyrics and
Peacemaker was a recent one.
Yeah, Peacemaker was
right.
great. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know that.
Wigwam, I think, was the band.
Wigwam.
Yeah, that, and then my wife and I have just been plowing through old Simpsons episodes, and I was thinking, I think I've heard the theme song to The Simpsons more than any other song.
Yeah,
because I've been watching that show since I was a little kid.
And what was great about the Simpsons theme is they really, and the music for the Simpsons in general, was that they kind of went against the trend, and they got a full orchestra, and they did a full theme song, and then all of the incidental music in the show was done by a full orchestra.
Yeah,
was it really?
Yeah,
Al Clausen, I believe.
I don't know. Danny Elfman wrote the theme, but Al Clausen is the one who really did all the music for it.
I haven't watched that since the second or third season. I'm gonna have to catch up on that.
Really?
Yeah, it's on. I watch it on. I watch it on Disney Plus. It's quite good.
I remember one summer, the boys were teenagers, and they're bugging you, and they kept watching The Office. And they kept watching The Office, and I was mad. And I came tearing down the steps, and I'm like, if I hear the start of The Office again, oh my God, I can't hear it again. And it's not even that annoying. It just was constant. They watched it so much.
Yeah. Some of them can be quite grating. The Mystery Science Theater theme, I got to say, never gets old.
Quite good.
It's
good. Joel and Jay Elvis and Charlie Erickson wrote that.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Here's another one from Q the Wet Sprocket. When have your fellow cast members here present made you laugh the hardest?
I don't know. We had so much fun all the time.
There's so many instances of you guys making me laugh. It's hard to boil it down to one or two incidents.
The best part of the day was watching TV with everyone in their room, and we just laughed constantly.
Because do you remember when the controller guy, Tim, would come up and he would walk really quietly behind us to ask us questions, that he needed to know. And then we would always exaggerate and go, wow, when he would come behind, like it never got old. And it made us laugh more and more and more. Yeah. I do remember once, I don't know if this was laughing at the time, but it was very funny when Trace, when you and Mike put that helmet on my head. And it was when we first got the best friends offices, and there was like a thing where I was like the rabbit, and you guys had these laser guns.
Oh, our laser tag!
Tag, but you put the helmet on me, and you told me run and hide, and then you hunted me down, and it was really fun. And kind of scary.
It's the most dangerous game with laser tag.
The most dangerous game with me during lunch.
We had an amazing warehouse that we could run around in, and we had these shitty laser tag things from Toys R Us.
Yes, it was really fun.
Those were great days.
Yeah, and Frank, we would just laugh when we'd go to restaurants and
we were having a spit take contests and all kinds of fun stuff after doing stand up and just going out and hanging out with the other comedians. So much fun, so much laughter.
Yeah, really. Just
whatever happened to the laughter?
I don't know.
Here's one from Wonderbink who asks. MST3K writing room question. How did you decide which character to assign each line to?
Well, that was a process of when we were all together in the writing room, we just yelled out lines, and then the lines got written down. They weren't assigned to any character. And then after that part of the process was done, myself, Mary Jo and Paul Chaplin would each take a third of the script, and then our job was to assign lines and edit and weed through. And I don't remember any like really conscious process of deciding who would get which line. I mean, it just was very instinctive, and it would be like, that sounds like a Crow line, that sounds like a Joel or a Mike line. So, that's kind of how it worked.
And if someone had to say Kitty, it was always Trace.
Yeah, exactly.
I've copywritten that. The royalties are awesome.
I can't say it. Kitty. There it is.
I divide animals into two categories, doggies and kitties. And it just makes it simple.
Kitty.
Speaking of which,
Oh, sweet.
Which one is this one now?
this is Jupiter. She doesn't make
Jupiter.
many appearances on camera.
Yeah.
I don't think Millie's going to make an appearance because during the show, she tried to jump on the table where I'm doing the show, and I was really worried about her ruining everything. So I pushed her away. So she's kind of pissed off.
Oh, you'll have to make up.
You got to get one of these things, spray bottle.
Mhm.
And then
No, she's pretty well behaved. She doesn't do that.
these cats love this desk, so I'm always prepared. Here's another one everyone can chime in on. Green Monster Productions asks, have you ever seen a remake or reboot that compares favorably to the original? And I know what my answer is. But
There are a few examples of remakes being better than the originals. The Maltese Falcon would be with Humphrey Bogart would be a great. It was actually done twice before. His Girl Friday, which is about my favorite comedy of all time, is a remake of The Front Page. So. There's a couple of others like that, but those are the two that come to mind immediately.
A Star is Born is like a remake of The Star is Born is a remake of The Star is Born. Remake.
I say Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the second one.
Yeah, the second one is great.
Equally is good. They're both good. And
and the same. Although I like the original better. I just the other night watched John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a great remake.
The Fly too.
Yes.
Yeah, The Fly. That's another good one.
A remake that's not good is The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
Terrible remake.
Have to agree with you on that.
Remake of Love Affair with Deborah Carr is not good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
A
fine.
Night to Remember.
It's not as good as the one with Charles Boyer.
Yeah.
And not quite as good, but
that's
so,
the remake is the more famous one, though. Believe it or not.
It is. But Deborah Carr, I don't ever get why her hair is so unattractive that I don't see why he likes her.
Why, Bridget? Why are you always ragging on Deborah Carr? It's just a thing with you.
I know I got canceled from the internet for it.
I know.
Over.
Here's another music-related question from Mr. C Flat. Music is a big part of our family, so I love a good music riff. Who is the most musical of the cast? It felt like Mike, but would love your thoughts.
Yeah, Mike is a good one. I can't think of. He wrote all the music for the songs we did, and he played keyboard and stuff. So. Mike wins, although Kevin had a lovely voice.
Oh yeah.
But overall musicality would have to go to Mike.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
And kind of, he kind of has that. He's my husband. I know him really well, but he kind of has that I just got to get it doneness to everything that he does. So I got to write this song. He would go in there. He would do the song.
He would write it.
Had a real sense of it's just got to be done. So. A journeyman, if you will.
Here is one. I like this one. I don't think we've seen this one before. Dale Smith asks, which film have you riffed that you found the least painful to watch? So the best movie, I guess, you guys have riffed. I'm trying to think of the past 2 years, which one I would say.
They all have a little bit of pain.
They do.
The one that no longer causes me any pain, probably because we've seen it so many times or done it so many times live, is Glen or Glenda.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about that film, but that one just is like a comfortable jacket.
Love that movie.
Yeah. Just kind of familiar and comfortable. And
I'd say
there is some pain in there too.
Right.
The Tingler is I think genuinely.
Yeah, Tingler is a much better movie than the ones we've usually done.
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoy Red Zone Cuba every time I watch it.
Manos, I hope to never watch again.
I hate that movie so much. And you know what cracks me? Well, it's been done. There's no use talking about it, but we were right. Everything that we were speculating about who the people were behind it, we would be eating at lunch. We were right. We were right. Yeah. Anyway, hate that movie.
We were right.
Right. Mary Jo and I did this sweet one called that Legend Film Zone they called it Beyond Christmas. It starred Hollywood actor Richard Carlson, and it was really a sweet movie, kind of like a kind of It's a Wonderful Life thing where a guy dies, and then these three guys have to kind of make sure he stays with the girl instead of the becomes a movie star. It was really sweet, and where you're recording it and then you miss your line because you're kind of just watching it.
Here's one from XOC. I can't read that. But hey, Bridget, I tried to ask, I think, Mary Jo when she was on, any chance of any more teenagers riffs? The teenage.
We cannot find a decent copy of the last two. I think it's like Sarge Goes to College and some other thing. Frank or Trace, are you familiar with the Teenagers films? No. It was through Monograph Pictures, and it's like an Andy Hardy ripoff. Anyway, no, we just can't find a good source for the last two because we get asked about it a lot.
Wow.
And they're all like really short people, so they decided let's just make them teenagers, and they get into hijinks and football games and whatever. And
what era are those from?
The 40s.
The 40s. Okay.
Yeah. Love to. We just can't find the source.
Wow. Lost films. This one from Michael Landon Bear. Any more Bridget, Mary Jo, RiffTrax's films in the pipeline? I love the Of the Bride riffs. Oh
yeah. We have a lot coming out. The Of the Brides, of course, there's none left. Both starred Trace and Frank. Rue McClanahan and Christy McNichol.
No,
they were TV movies, and it's like Christy McNichol's a nun, and then she gives up the nunnery to get married, and then Rue McClanahan marries a younger man who's Patrick Duffy. It's like in the four of them, it's always a different man, but it's supposed to be the same man. And yeah, crazy stuff happens. And Tom Dooley's the husband.
Wow.
Here's another one from Godzilla Haiku. What's your favorite comedy duo?
Laurel and Hardy.
Yep, definitely Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy.
Wow.
Although I would throw in. For me, it would be a tie between them and Nichols and May. Mike Nichols and Elaine May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which, if you listen to their old stuff or watch it, it's as funny today as it was when they did it.
If we get to choose one from the past, I'd say Bob and Ray.
Oh yeah.
I think the Mads were pretty funny in their prime too. You guys, when you're together, it's darn
that was
funny.
my first thought.
Oh, yeah. Bless your hearts.
Some really, really funny stuff with you too. Like when you're, when Frank, you have like your mask on and you're excited. I can't remember what it is, and then the Forrester comes in from shopping. I don't know. It just was always so fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Trace and I.
A lot of crazy, just like, what did we get written into this time?
Yes.
What are we wearing? Which was for everybody, the puppets too. It's like, what the hell?
The one thing you would never say is, that's too silly.
Yes.
That was just not in the vocabulary.
I will never wear a dress. I will never. Oh.
Yeah. And I think you have to say, like, because the costumes were always so good. It's like you can have the idea, and then until someone makes the prop or gives you the dress that you're going to wear, it's just that is always made it so funny. Like, yes, that's what I meant when I was thinking of this.
No,
somebody else, really finishes your idea.
Yeah, all the art department writing jokes with a hot glue gun. You know,
Yeah.
Maynard and Bees and Patrick, all just stellar artists.
Yes.
Yeah, they were great.
All right, you guys want to do a couple more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this is one we get asked every month, and I always like answering it. Stephen Kellett asked, any good picks in the theaters you can recommend?
Movies, you mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
assume,
I haven't. I didn't see this in a theater. I saw this on Netflix, and I've been recommending it to everybody. You guys have heard me recommend it. It's a film on Netflix, an Indian action film called RRR, which is just about as good as any action movie I've ever seen. And
Because it is every action movie.
it is, and it has musical numbers in it. I mean, it's amazing. It's 3 hours long, but it's great. Yeah, but great storytelling from start to finish.
There's a great dance-off sequence that I think rivals any, Singing in the Rain number. It's just amazing.
And I've watched it twice already, and I'm a big Marvel and Star Wars guy, and I think it's better than any Marvel or Star Wars movie. I mean, really.
RRR.
Yeah.
RRR.
Yeah, just 3 letters. RRR. It's on Netflix, and highly recommend it.
I saw The Black Phone in the theater.
Oh.
Which is excellent. You should definitely watch it. And actually, they show a clip from The Tinkler in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah, it was really cool. It just pops up randomly.
We hung out with the co-writer of that movie, Robert Cargill, at Dragon Con a few years ago. A really nice guy. He had already written like the first Doctor Strange movie.
Okay,
which I think the director of that movie actually directed. Black
Derrickson,
Phone.
yeah, same director.
And so I know people are loving that movie, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah,
that's cool. Okay, this is it's just a sweet movie from 2021. It's just called Mixtape. And there's a comedian in it, and I can't remember his name, but it's a very sweet story. Like you could watch it with anyone, if you have a niece or hey, we have to watch a movie, together. And it's about a mom and a dad, and they break up. Wait. I'm being like a mom. I can't remember it. It's just really cute. It's called Mixtape. And it's very sweet, and it's kind of a coming of age movie, and it's not creepy, and there's not an icky scene, and there's not a scene that you're like, oh, I could recommend this to anybody except for the one scene. It's just really sweet. And there's some great music in it too, hence Mixtape. So I would say if you have to watch a movie with everybody, that's the movie.
I also saw Thor. I saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'm seeing that tomorrow.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but it's very fun. You'll enjoy it, Frank, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good night, everyone.